Good evening, Second Baptist. We thank you for tuning in today, and we are grateful for you allowing us to come into your homes. We've got a very exciting program tonight that I think you'll be it'll be a great benefit to you. Also, we want to thank God. We had a great service this morning, and our third service back in the church. And man, we're having a wonderful time. And I know you've been watching. For those of you who have not been there in attendance, you've been watching via Facebook or YouTube or the radio station, and we just had a blessed time. The music is just awesome, and the fellowship is grand. And we just thank God for each and every one who's come and supported. And and we just thank God also that we've had visitors every Sunday so far that we've been opened up, and we're grateful for that. And we've had in the last two Sundays we've had two people to give their life to Christ and join the church, and we're really ecstatic about that. And we hope that those who are watching in other places who made that commitment would let us know so that we can contact you and send you some information. But we just thank God for all that you do, your commitment, and to the program. We have today on with us today, and we want to introduce my good friend Kaleem Shabazz, who's been one of my longest and dearest friends here in Atlantic City, and we work together in so many different capacities. And he's my boss. I'm his chauffeur, I'm his gopher, I'm his whatever he needs. Kaleem has always strong-armed me to do it, but we've had a great working relationship, and we're glad to have him. And he's my city councilman, Third Ward City Councilman, and doing a great job. We also have Jared Barnes, one of our members who we are real proud of, and who is running for school board. And we want to hear from Jared, and that the members might know a little bit more about him, because he's going to need your support in the school board election. And we hope that Marty's going to join us. Mayor Marty Small is going to join us in a few minutes, and so he'll jump on in a few minutes, and we'll talk to Marty. He has some important stuff to tell us as well. We're going to start with you, Mr. Shabazz. Welcome to Family Check-In.
Good evening, Reverend Days. Thank you so much for having me. Let me say good evening to you and to First Lady Days in her absence. I am honored and humbled to be on the Second Baptist Check-In. I feel it a privilege, and I'm very, very thankful. And also with Brother Barnes. In fact, I'll jump right into my remarks. Some of my remarks feature him, because I'm going to strongly suggest and urge the Second Baptist family to make sure that they vote on November 3rd. And that's wearing both my hats as the Third Ward council person to all my constituents in the Third Ward, and also as the president of the NACP. Reverend, as you know, one of our national, state, local initiatives is to encourage people to vote. This is going to be a vote by mail election in New Jersey. We had on our NACP radio program, which I'm going to encourage everyone to listen to, which is every Tuesday from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. On WEHA. And everybody knows WEHA, a gospel station under the leadership of Elder Hawks. From 4:30 again to 5:30, we have our radio program. And on the radio program, we have been encouraging people to register to vote when the ballots come out. The last program we had the county clerk on, and he informed us that the mail-in ballots for Atlantic County should be received between October 5th and October the 8th. So if people do not receive their ballot, they need to reach out to the NAC or the U Reverend Days, and you can refer them to me, and we will follow up. The county clerk, that they have been working closely with the Postal Service to make sure that people get their ballots on time and make sure that they are delivered. And we encourage people to fill out their ballot and to mail it. And I think it's important that we tell people not only to vote for the president, but to vote all the way down the ballot to the school board candidates, which are going to be at the end of the ballot. But I would say that they are just as important, if not more important, than many of the candidates. All the candidates are important, but our school board candidates are very important because they affect school policy and our future. So we're encouraging people to vote. Also, Reverend, I would like to announce that on October the 13th, which is a Monday, and October the 15th, which is a Thursday, the NAACP is going to sponsor our Candidates Night. We have Candidates Nights 2 times every year in June or May for the primary election cycle, and then in October for the general election cycle. We are now at the general election cycle. We had a Candidates Night in the spring. We didn't have the school board candidates because they hadn't filed yet to run. We will have all the 8 school board candidates on October 13th or 15th. We are determining now which days, which candidates are going to be on. That's going to be from 6 to 9 p.m. It's going to be virtual. Encourage people to tune in and hear the candidates. And one thing about the NAACP, we are nonpartisan. Everyone knows that the questions are fair, that the process is fair, and we have a 100% rate. All the candidates show up. So to hear the candidates, tune in on October the 12th and I'm sorry, October 13th and October the 15th for the for those 2 dates. And the NAACP is also encouraging people, and I hope most of the people in Second Baptist, all the people in Second Baptist, have filled out your census form. If you haven't, for some reason, you have to the end of October, despite the efforts of President Trump to stop the census counting. Uh, we went to court, the NAACP, along with other organizations nationally, and it's been pushed back to the end of October to complete the census, which is very, very important. So I wanted to make those announcements, Reverend, about the candidates night, October 12th and October 15th, about our radio program on Tuesday from 4:30 to 5:30 on WEHA, 4:30 to 5:30 p.m., and also about voter registration. We have a vigorous voter registration effort. October 13th is the last day to register to vote in the November election, October 13th. If you're not registered by that date, then you can't vote in the November election. And let me just say about voter registration, many of our brothers have been involved with the uh, law enforcement and have been incarcerated, unfortunately. But now there's a law has passed. If you are not incarcerated and you are parole, or if you're on parole or probation, but you are not incarcerated, you can vote. And I think that's very important for people to understand. If you are not in jail, not incarcerated, you can register and you can vote. So I wanted to say those things, Reverend, to let people know, first of all, what the NAACP is doing, the importance of the election, the importance of the census, the importance of us staying focused in this very trying times that we live in.
But Kaleem, you didn't say how people could tune in to the virtual debate, a candidates night. How would they get that information to be able to? Is it Zoom or is it?
It's going to be a Zoom, and here's what we're going to do. Thank you, Reverend. We're going to put it on NAACP social media. We're going to put it in the press, and we're going to send it to all the social media platforms. We'll probably do that by the end of the week, but it is going to be a virtual candidates night. In fact, we had a virtual candidates night in the spring, and this is going to be the same thing. It's going to be a Zoom virtual candidates night.
We also are grateful
Right.
tonight to have one of our own that we're very proud of, Jared Barnes, who's running for school board. Jared, introduce yourself to those who may not know you. I know they've seen you, may not see you as much as they want to see you, but introduce yourself, Jared.
Hello, how's everybody doing tonight? My name is Jared Barnes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
My name is Jared Barnes, running for school board this year, along with the ticket of Walter Johnson and Ms. Patricia Bailey. We are 178. Walter Johnson is 1. I'm 7. And Ms. Pat Bailey is 8. Um, just to tell you a little bit about myself, currently a member of Second Baptist Church. I have a degree from South Carolina State University in Orangeburg, South Carolina. I have my master's degree in healthcare administration from University of Phoenix, and I'm working on my doctorate degree as well. Um, Also, I am a ambulatory operations manager at Sure Physician Group in Northfield, New Jersey, and Mays Landing, New Jersey. I run different practices for that organization. Also, I am an instructor at Prism Career Institute in the nursing program with the first year nursing students as I help them, with test taking strategies and medical terminology. Also, most importantly, I'm a husband, I'm a father. My wife is an educator in the Atlanta City School District, and all three of my kids, I have four kids, three of them actually are in the Atlanta City School District as well. Within the community, I've worked with the Atlanta City Dolphins as a coach, and I've helped run uh, summer programs in Atlanta City over in the Venice Park area, Venice Park basketball court. So um,
Well, you
that's
didn't tell
me.
us who you were married to. I think that's important.
Most importantly, my wife is Elizabeth Barnes. She's also a member of Second Baptist Church. She, a lot of people seen her. She's a praise dancer. She's also the head cheerleading coach for Atlanta City High School as well, and she teaches first grade at Pennsylvania Avenue School.
Well, Jared, we consider you as family, and I served on the school board. Mandy served on the school board, and now we hope and pray that you'll be able to have that same privilege and honor as well. So we know that education is so important here in Atlantic City. We've got over 10,000 kids, children in Atlantic City, and education is paramount. What do you think you'll bring to Atlantic City School Board?
I think one thing that, just to speak on the ticket alone, you have three different individuals who bring three different things to the school board. You have Miss Patricia Bailey. She's already on the school board. She's been on there for over 12 years. So she brings the experience that, we need. Walter Johnson, he's in education as well. He's a teacher in Ocean City. He's a former school board member. So he brings experience as well, but he also brings the experience of an educator. I myself, I think I can bring new ideas, bringing in a different perspective that isn't on the school board now. One thing that is important to me is obviously children. I want what's the best for children. I don't have any ulterior motives. So I want what's best for the kids of Atlantic City. So I think that's what we bring to the ticket, and that's what we need on the school board.
Now there are three seats up now, right? And there's 8 people running.
Yes.
Yeah, and so it's important that we get the vote out, and not just for, and I think Kaleem has said, all politics are local, and this is probably one of the most important elections, probably in my lifetime, and with all the things that are going on a national level, in terms of, and as well as the local level, there's when we look at what's happening with the Senate, with the president's office, and right on down the line that it's important, even when it comes to the mayoral election. We still got to get out and vote for the mayor.
Right.
Still, we
We're
think that's a
going with,
bygone product, but Marty just won the primary. He would still have to. He still have to be elected in the general election. And so it's important for all of us to get out and vote. And I think it's important that, when you get your mail-in ballot, to go ahead and mail them in as soon as you can. Don't hold them, fill them out. If you got questions about them, how to fill them out. Because the last one was a little difficult. It took me a while to find a place where you actually vote at, because it was kind of in an obscure place. I hope they fixed it this time, Kaleem. I hope you complain. And they fixed it. It made it a little more easier to vote this time. But we hope that that we'll probably have something prior to voting time to make sure we go over the ballot, explain the ballot, even on this program, that everybody can really understand how to utilize the ballot.
Reverend, I'm glad you said that. If I can, we're going to do a couple things on the NACP platforms. We're going to have a YouTube instruction on how to fill out the ballot. I believe Mayor Small is going to have one too, how to fill out a ballot. Our colleagues in Pleasantville are doing the same thing. So we're going to be actually having YouTube tutorials on how to fill out the ballot. Let me just say this, in case people want to vote in person, they still can do that on election day. But here's the caveat: if you vote election day, you have to vote provisional. And as you know, Reverend Dave's on the primary for the third ward. The voting site was Second Baptist. It's going to be the same thing this time. There's going to be one polling place in Lang City, one polling place in each ward in Lang City for people to vote election day. If for some reason they lose their ballot, they just want to vote in person or whatever, but they have to vote provisional. What does that mean? Provisional means that you sit in the polling place. They put a little shield around it so people can't see how you're voting. You fill out your ballot. You turn it into the election supervisor, and it's secured. It's turned over to the Board of Elections, and when they start to count, the provisionals are counted together. So your ballot will count. But I'm encouraging people. The NAACP is encouraging people to vote by mail as soon as you get the ballot, and to do it early as possible, because there's going to be a tremendous amount of ballots going to mail, and we need to make sure that we get in under the deadline. Also, the Board of Elections, if your ballot is postmarked by November 3rd, by law, the Board of Elections has to count your ballot. That's the state law that governs our elections. But I would encourage people, when the ballots come out, get your ballot, vote however you want to vote, fill it out, make sure you sign, put it in the enclosed envelope. There's no postage, there's nothing to pay, and get it back in the mail. If you don't want, for some reason, to go to the post office or give it to the mail, there's going to be a locked box between City Hall and the county government building. It's still there, been there since the primary. It's under 24-hour surveillance. It's locked up. Every day, the Board of Election workers comes out and collects whatever ballots the people have put in there. So you have that alternative. You can put it in a lockbox. You can take it to the post office. I've seen people do that. Or you can drop it in the mailbox or give it to your mailman. So there are many ways that you can exercise your right to vote.
And you know, the wonderful thing about it, there's no excuse for no one not to vote this time because it's so convenient. You don't have to stand in line. We're concerned about COVID. You are able to, the ballot comes to your house, and you can wait for the mailman to pick it up, or you can drop it right off. One of the things that we know, Jared, we've got about 5 weeks. We've got about 5 weeks left to in your campaign, Jared, in particular, and you know all the campaigns coming up November. Was it November 6th? That
November 3rd.
November 3rd. Yeah, November 3rd. Yeah, don't
November 3rd.
get it in before November 3rd. So what's your
November 3rd.
strategy? Because you know we still got people to have to know you, and I know you can't. This the time you got to get in high gear now to make sure we get the vote out. People know you. So what is your plan for the next 5 weeks?
Well, different things we're gonna do. You're gonna see a lot of literature go out. You'll see the door hangers, yard signs, social media. We're gonna do commercials. We're gonna do every single thing that we can to actually get out and get out to the people. We're on the same. You have shirts out with 178, with Walter Johnson, Jared Barnes, Patricia Bailey, and also Mayor Marty Small on it. We're just gonna try to touch them as much as we possibly can. Trying to go out to the community, talk with people, try to get our face out there even more. But definitely you'll see the yard signs, you'll see the door hangers going out. You'll see if you're on social media, you'll see the different posts. We're gonna try to post every single day. So if you see a post about us, share it. You'll see the commercials coming out. You'll see the videos coming out. So we're definitely gonna get the word out there to everyone.
Yeah, it's very important. The school board election, I think, is very important as well. And we know that we've got the superintendent's thinking about retiring as well. And so there's going to be a very important election coming on because, in the choosing of a new superintendent, if Barry decides to retire, and so when you come on, it's going to be charting the direction of the school district for the next several years, and that's really important. So we're not only talking about the national level, but it's so important. Even with the mayoral election, we see Atlantic City turning around. A lot of very positive things are happening in Atlantic City that I think all of us are really happy about. We want that to also be seen in the school district, and I know the school district has a lot of challenges now with COVID and going virtual. But we really need people like you who are forward thinkers, who can think out of the box, who have a vested interest in the school district because you have children in the school district,
Right.
and the decision that you
Right.
make directly affect and impact your own family. And that's really important to us. That you talked about no ulterior motive, but the motive that you ought to have, that everyone has, is really the children. And people say that all the time, that their interest is in the children. But when you have children in the school district, then your interest is really vested in the children. And I'm looking forward to you getting on the school board. Kaleem, I got to talk about some third ward stuff since you're my third ward councilman. And,
Yes, sir.
And we always, you have always been a person, a councilman that people can call on, and you readily respond to it. Even if I can't get you when I call you, you always return my call. I really appreciate that, and that has been something you've always done. And I tell anybody who's got an issue in the third ward, call Kaleem, and Kaleem will get back to you. And I think we got the mayor getting ready to join us. Thank you, Mayor. We've been waiting on you. Glad to have you tonight. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you so much for joining.
All right, good evening. Thank you for having me.
Oh, appreciate that, and you're always worth waiting on. So I want to, before I get to you, Mayor, so Kaleem, one of the things I hit,
Yes, sir.
my car hit a pothole the other day on Tennessee Avenue that almost threw my wife and catapulted us out of the car. And so we need to, I talked to Mayor a little bit about it last time. New York Avenue, Tennessee Avenue, the streets that I don't get an opportunity. They don't let me go up in the 4th Ward, the 5th Ward, the 6th Ward that much. But, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th Ward, those are the 3rd Ward, that's my stomping grounds. And man, we've got to really do something about my wife said, if my rim cracked, Kaleem's gonna buy me a new rim. So I'm just serving you notice on that. That's how bad the pothole was on Tennessee Avenue. I'm gonna go by and put a cone in that thing because we can go fishing in that thing.
Reverend me, I am acutely aware of the street repair situation in the third ward. I'm happy to report here, maybe to some that don't know, very shortly, and the mayor can verify this and expand upon this very shortly. We're going to be doing some streets in the third ward, Kentucky Avenue, New York Avenue, and I believe Tennessee Avenue. We really
Okay, you froze up on us. So Mayor, we're gonna bring you in while Kaleem
could,
is.
let me say this, and I
oh,
don't
there
want
he
to
is. He's
speak for my
back.
colleagues on council. We are getting ready to pave some streets in Atlantic City, Kentucky Avenue, New York Avenue, and I believe Tennessee Avenue. But that's going to happen shortly. We have bids out, and we're working rapidly towards that. I said before I froze, I wish that we had the money. We pave every street in Atlantic City, and I know my colleagues on the council feel the same way, and I know the mayor feels the same way. We just don't have the money to do the kind of infrastructure that we need to do. but we'll look for grants and other money to do that. Also, let me say this, Mayor, about the third ward. On Wednesday from 5 to 6, I'm having a Zoom meeting on public safety issues, third ward, and everybody is invited to tune in. They can call the council off 347-5400, 47-5400, and get the Zoom information.
Okay. And before we go to Mayor, someone, Shirley Ward just asked, can we do something about the car speeding down Michigan Avenue? And that's in your ward as well. And
It is. You know what? I'm glad the mayor's on. Mayor, one of the things I want to ask, if we do, and some people have said that, we need some speed monitors. We have 2 in the city. We really need 6, so we can put 1 in each ward. I'm aware of the speeding that takes place when people come off 30 on Kentucky Avenue. I'm aware of that, and we need to address that. So and I know you're doing wonders with the budget, but if we could get some more of those speed monitors to make people accountable. Because if people who speed, if they get a ticket and they have to pay, I think it will make them more accountable. People come and speed, there's no consequence, they keep speeding. So that's one of the things I like to make as a third ward ask.
Well, Councilman, I mean, you're right. We are dealing with the bidding process, but though the money is free through grants and from the federal and state government to repair the streets, we're not in the business of throwing away free money. And that's what we'll be doing right now as the winter season is approaching. Right. And the asphalt plants are closed, and due to everyone vying for the same thing to deal with COVID, we're repairing those streets. Money is already there. We're going to go through the process, the engineering and the bidding through the winter. And as soon as the asphalt plants open in the spring, we will begin repairing those streets.
Thank you, Mayor.
okay. Well, we might need to do some patchwork
So,
in the meantime.
And New York Avenue is on the list. As a matter of fact, we received additional monies to basically pave almost every street besides 1 and 2 on New York Avenue from Magellan all the way to Route 30. The other bad street is coming off Route 30, from Route 30 down Kentucky Avenue. I think we're doing a few blocks there. And also Reverend Days near your home on Erie all the way to Huron on Indiana Avenue. So some third ward streets will be done.
Excellent. Well, Mayor, we're glad to have you on tonight, and we were talking about the election, and Jared is running for school board on your ticket, and you know we're trying to remind everyone that you still need their votes as well in
Yes.
November, and so you be talking a little bit about that as well.
Well, just for people to know, they know it's a primary election and a general election, and this election is for the remaining balance of Frank Gilliam's term. As a matter of fact, next Saturday I would have been the mayor of this great city for 1 year. And you know, when I got sworn in, I took the oath of office until the results of the general election, the 2020 general election, become certified, which is where we will be on November 3rd. And upon, you know, me being successful, I will be the mayor. I will take that oath of office shortly after the results are certified. My oath will say to be the mayor until December 31st, 2021, which would have been the end of Frank Gilliam's term. And obviously next year I'm going to run for re-election in the June primary, and that will be for the full 4 years. So I knew what I was stepping into, that I had to win the tough task of winning 5 elections in 18 months. This is election number 3. I believe that we put ourselves in a great position to be successful now and moving forward next year. And I just need everyone's continued support and prayers. You know, we had a difficult situation that I walked into, and I believe that we've handled the pandemic situation like a champ, and many other issues that affected the residents of Atlantic City to come in and be fiscally sound and to produce a tax decrease in this pandemic and what's going on around this and so much uncertainty, citizens of Atlantic City should be proud, especially when we're on sound fiscal ground. In the next 3 years, we're projecting tax decreases as well. So I'm extremely satisfied, with what we've accomplished during the pandemic. I can't wait to see what we can do when things open back up a little more. And as I stated, with your prayers, your vote, and your continued support, we're going to take Atlantic City to a place that has never been before. And I'm extremely confident. I got great people around me, and that's what you need to be successful.
You know, on Tuesday, Mayor, I was in a meeting in Trenton with some business leaders and politicians and everyone else. And, whenever I'm in, from being from Atlantic City always comes up in the conversation. And I am so pleased to say that everyone, there was about 10 different people in the meeting, spoke so highly of you and was very proud of the work that you're doing here in Atlantic City. And, we've had some problems with Trenton before and some of the business leaders in terms when it comes to our local leadership. And we're grateful that we've got a great partnership now with the state and with local business entities that is supporting you and grateful for the work that you're doing and the leadership that you're providing. And I think all of us in Atlantic City ought to be very proud and very supportive of you because you're taking us to another level. And I'm not just saying that because you're a member, but because I see what you're doing. Other people around the state, they're recognizing that as well. And I'm really thankful for that. So, when you go to those types of places and, you want to hear people saying good things instead of being questioned about what's going on in Atlantic City and why this and why that, but to hear the positive things. And I'm really thankful for that.
Yes, and I'm thankful too. We wanted to come in and instill the people's confidence with the good people of Atlantic City and the mayor's office again. And as I stated to everyone, we're just getting started. And once again, with everyone's prayers and continued support, we're going to continue to do great things. I'm excited about the future of Atlantic City, some of the programs and initiatives that we're about to get started on, because we have to provide. I mean, running the city just can't be about bean counters and things like that. We have to provide adequate services for its residents. And, being, quite frank, the city hasn't done that. And I'm speaking about youth, seniors, and everything else. We haven't had a comprehensive program. It hasn't been a focus of administrations prior, and it's a focus of my administration. And I'm gonna surround myself with the best talent possible to execute that plan.
As you said about seniors, I want to talk about two things. One is we've got Jared on, and I know Kaleem has been a great advocate of youth and youth education. One of the concerns we're dealing with, Mayor, and all of you, is COVID. We had a really good summer this year. I talked to the chief of police, because one of the things we've been working on with our program, LIT, was trying to curtail the violence in Atlantic City. We didn't really have a major problem with violence in the youth, but there's still the issue of what are these kids going to do? So we've got to make sure that we've got some things for our kids, especially during COVID, because the chief was saying that they still just, because they didn't have anything to do, they just did some other just little stuff that just got them in a little trouble that caused some problems in the city because of the lack of boredom and the lack of access and activities. Is there a plan, and Jared, do you have a plan, or is there, Mayor, as relates to, and I know with the schools, which were always like community centers being closed, is there anything that you have in mind to deal with that for the youth, over the winter?
Well, Reverend Days, as I shared with you and spoke to Senator Shabazz, that's Councilman Shabazz, but he's Senator Shabazz to us. We have a comprehensive program. It's going to be a new division in the city under the Health and Human Services Department. It will be called the Division of Youth, Recreation, senior and multicultural services. We have a comprehensive plan and it's not just sports. When you say recreation, people just think of youth sports. We're going to recreate everyone from senior citizens to adults. We have non-sports programs such as financial literacy in our plan. And as I stated, I just can't wait to get it up with so much uncertainty. Of course, for obvious reasons, we're not going to take on fall sports, and depending on what the data says, it may not even be winter sports. So we want to get started with our anti-violence program. One, we want to get our senior citizens program off the ground, as well as our multicultural, um, you know, the multicultural office off the ground as well, so we can begin to provide services that hasn't been provided in a long time for Atlantic City and its residents, realizing that Atlantic City is an extremely diverse community. We want to make sure that we're meeting all the community needs, and that's why that multicultural office is going to be a key piece for the city of Atlantic City.
What did you have in mind for the seniors?
Well, as you know, Atlantic City has a large senior citizen population, senior citizen homeowners, senior citizen that lives in high-rise building development. We want to be able to bring programming to the seniors throughout the day. Our plan is to work with our new health department. That was one of my goals, to reinstitute the health department and get that staff up. We're going to do wellness checks. We're going to do game days, game nights. Atlantic City, once the casinos and other surrounding, theaters and multi-purpose centers are open, we're going to expose our seniors to shows and everything else. The Powell and Soldiers Home is extremely underutilized. We're going to bring the seniors out to those places as well to perform activities. It's going to focus on quality of life as well as swimming. I've met with Dennis Levinson to talk about some funding from the county. I know that the county provides swimming for seniors, so we're just going to tap in. One of the goals of the Lieutenant Governor wanted, she said she wanted the city and the county's relationship to be better. We have started a dialogue on some of the things that I would like to do and see how the county can help. The answer wasn't yes, but the answer wasn't no, and we agreed to continue to talk because I think it's important that the county assist the city as much as possible, as we continue to try to lessen the burden on our taxpayers. So it's going to be an exciting program. The city senior department is going to travel to every building to provide activities such as arts and crafts, yoga, some other exercises, and we're just excited to provide services that hasn't been provided, and continue to take this city to a next level.
Good. Jared, I want to say, because I think not only is PAL and Soldiers Home may be underutilized, but the schools as well. We've got swimming pools, we've got the basketball courts. Years ago, because I've seen Marty at some of the midnight ball games and everything else, they were really utilized. But over the last few years, the schools have not been in play, and I hope that that's one of the things that. And I know you're involved in sports and coaching and refereeing as well, that I hope that that's going to be a push of yours when you get on the school board, that we can make schools again really community centers, and with the youth and seniors, it really could have access more to the school district.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with you 100% on that. You know, sports is my thing, but I think that we definitely need to increase the amount of sports that we have in our school district. Not even, not just at the high school level, but in the youth as well, like the elementary school. So just starting them off young. That way when they can get to high school, we already have those sports there, and that way it's not a new thing to them. It's a lot of things like, we don't have any like youth baseball or lacrosse or field hockey, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Golf. Those are the type of things that we need so we can, you know, prepare the students as they get to high school and they'll be ready, to play in high school, and also attract some of those students who may go out to other schools that have those sports. We already have it at Lansing High School. Um, One thing as far as getting, previous I guess, bring back the older generation who have graduated from Atlantic City High School and help mentor, the younger generation. So I think we need to create programs like that, well, because we have so many different individuals now who have businesses and have gone on to do great things, who are teachers, doctors, have their own business. People who we have someone who's a professional basketball player who's overseas right now. He should be coming back and mentoring our younger folks, and just bridging that gap between the younger generation and the older generation. Something that's important. I think the school board is something that where we can start that at.
Yeah.
Well,
We got
you
a,
know,
request from Marlena, Marlena Abdullah.
Oh, yeah. One of my
Third Ward.
constituents,
She says
yes.
that there's a low-hanging wire through the trees on the corner of McKinley and Ohio, and she can't get any help with that. She says, please see if you can.
What'd you say, McKinley in Ohio? Reverend, I'm writing that
McKinley,
down.
Ohio. Right.
Okay.
And Mayor, there's a question about fireworks through the city. Sometimes in my neighborhood, we get fireworks. Sometimes 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Is there any anything that you're looking at doing with fireworks in Atlantic City? People, shooting off the fireworks all times of night in the city.
Yeah, I mean,
another question.
that's clearly an enforcement issue. I would definitely say report your complaints. You can send them to my office, or you can send them to your councilman. And generally, people call the police. I know that it was a big time problem around the 4th of July and the summertime, which has kind of subsided. But if those things are still going on, please don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Yeah,
On another note,
what is the
Reverend
policy
Dave,
concerning fireworks anyways? I'm not even sure I know what is the policy concerning fireworks?
the fireworks and everything is all a part of the noise ordinance. It shouldn't be going on after 10 o'clock. And as I stated, report those concerns. Many times it's a police matter. That's the enforcement arm for fireworks and the noise ordinance.
Mayor, you just said something earlier that the amount of times you've got to run over 18 months, and that's an amazing feat because you always have to be thinking of the campaign. How are you dealing with that, and
Yes.
what kind of strategy you employ to run so many times where you not even have a rest, and you're governing at the same time? You not only you got a campaign, you got to govern, and fend off all the competition, all of that at the same time. How are you dealing with that?
Well, I mean, listen, our philosophy is to keep doing what we're doing, to stick to our strategy when we came in of the elements that we wanted to govern by, which is called Let's Ace It. And we said we would govern with leadership, expectations, transparency, and stability, accountability, credibility, and we will excel in our execution. We want to let our performance and our effort speak for itself. I was talking to someone the other day. I said, with the change of government being election number one, when other elected officials the next day, they could breathe a sigh of relief. They could put their feet up and say, well, we got to wait till our next election, a couple years away. The next day, I had to go into campaign mode for the mayor's race in the primary. And then now running again in November, which is an important election, from the presidential all the way down to the school board. And then, going again and, when the calendar turns to 2021, get back in re-election mode again at the same time governing. It's different when you're in the office and, you still have to run the day-to-day operations of the city. But it's a challenge that I accept. We're going to continue to perform to the best of our abilities. And as I told people, any elected official, you don't always make everyone happy. People are not always going to agree with your decisions, but know that any decision that I make is what I feel is in the best interest of the good people of Atlantic City. And furthermore, one thing you're never going to complain about is my effort. I'm always going to give, 110%. No one is going to outwork me. No one is going to out-campaign me. And as long as we stay focused and continue to stick to our plan and execute our plan, I think the residents of Atlantic City, will see fit not only to make me successful in November 3rd, but give me a shot to have my chance at a full term, to see what I can do. But I think we're off to a great start. We don't take that for granted. We're going to keep our foot on the proverbial gas and, keep doing a great job for Atlantic City. And if I can, Reverend Days, I wanted to comment on what Jared was saying about the sports program. As you know, many of you know, for 11 years, I ran the after-school sports program for Atlantic City Board of Education. And all of the programs that you were talking about, Jared, we had a feeder system in all of the sports, which since I departed, hasn't been replaced. And I do have that blueprint, and that same blueprint is what we want to bring from the city. And I've spoken to Barry Caldwell, and we have agreed to collaborate with the city running the recreation program for the Board of Education. We'll use the facilities, and we'll provide the same services that we used to provide in lacrosse, field hockey. Lacrosse would be a new sport, but we had field hockey going on. We had wrestling, we had volleyball, we had co-ed kickball, and it was exciting time, the spirit of competition between the schools, and who could forget Super Saturday and the cheerleading competitions and all of that. So that will come back. That is all in our plan, and I just can't wait till things loosen up so we can continue to execute and provide those services.
Okay. We want to thank all of you for coming on. We thank you, Jared. We thank you, Colleen. And thank you, Mayor. But Mayor, we thank everyone for watching. Before we close out, you talked about you're gonna keep your foot to the pedal. You're gonna out campaign. But I saw you on a video the other day that you are the fastest mayor in the country. I mean, I saw you do 40 yards in 3 seconds flat. I was amazed how a big man can move so fast. I don't know if anybody saw the video.
Well,
if they need to see the video, please call me, text me, I'll send it to you. The man was running faster than any man I've ever seen run before. And I mean, you were smoking.
Well, I told Councilman Shabazz, many people know I was a former athlete, and I told Councilman Shabazz that I was a tight end body with wide receiver speed. So
he certainly did, yeah.
Well, listen, let me tell you, my wife told me to tell you that she doesn't feel bad because she runs from her own dogs. But to see you run from a little chihuahua and run so fast, that dog had no chance at all catching you. I think everybody needs to see that because that shows the tremendous effort and the ability you have. I mean, that was an amazing, amazing video. You made my day yesterday when I saw it. Thank you so much, Mayor. You made, the Bible says laughter is the best, is good medicine. You gave me a good shot of medicine yesterday.
That's all right. Thank you.
You're gonna have a problem living that down. I'm telling you.
Marty runs in that football field.
Say what?
Little Marty runs just as fast in that football field for us. So I appreciate you for that.
All right.
Well, look, we're looking for little Marty to have another big season. So coach him up.
Yes, sir.
Thank all of you for joining us. Thank everyone for watching, and we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday night. Thank you for your faithfulness, commitment, and watching. Listen, make sure that you get out and vote. We've got Jared on the ballot. We've got the mayor on the ballot, and we've got to do something about this president. So you've got to make sure you get your ballots in when they come out. And if you have any questions, let us know.
Democrat, column B.
Thank you for having me, Reverend Days, and I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. I missed what you said. Can you say it? Repeat it again.
Now I said vote Democrat, column B, the entire column B, as they say. All politics are local, from Joe Biden all the way down to Marty Small in column B, and then we want to go to column I and vote 178, and there's Johnson, Barnes, and Bailey for the Together AC ticket. I'm Mayor Marty Small Sr., and I approve this message.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night, everybody. Be safe.
Right.